So let's start our discussion with the most debated question of all. Is astrology a science?
Well, I wouldn't call it that astrology is that perfect science, the way sciences are known to. I would say astrology is like any other social sciences, where we cannot prove, but yet they have been very beneficial to the society at large. Now, the way in medical sciences a brain can be defined. If I ask you that, can you define a brain? You can tell me what is its structure, how does it look like.
Right.
But can you describe or define a mind?
No.
Similarly is astrology. It teaches us how to change ourselves. It teaches us about ourselves, about the energies that are inside us. And as we all know, and I'm sure you understand, that our body, what is it made of? Water, air, earth and fire.
Right.
And can we prove that?
Well, yeah, that's right. No.
But that's what astrology and the science is all about.
How can astrology help individuals and professionals?
As I have always believed in, that until and unless an individual knows himself, you cannot progress either in your mind, heart or soul. And astrology is the only subject in the world who helps us know ourselves better. Because it speaks about our attitudes, it speaks about the positives that we possess, it speaks about our negatives that we have. See, Amod, one thing I have always seen is that none of us want to believe the pluses and minuses that we have. We sometimes have belief and are overconfident that we can do certain things in life. And then we feel very upset in life when things don't happen the way we visualize them. Right? So astrology is so accurate into describing the you, the me, the other person. You come to know in totality what are the things that I possess. What is it that I can achieve? What are my habits? What are my traits? And then we work around that. So that's how astrology helps us individually. Now, you asked me how can it help me professionally?
Right.
Astrology also tells us the potentials that we have. Now, potentials are formed in direct relations with our habits. If I'm a lazy person, do you think I can achieve much in life?
Yeah, no.
But I need to be aware that I'm lazy because I don't want to believe I'm lazy. But when I see black and white, and somehow I have learnt in life that nobody can speak the truth to you but you yourself. I myself know whether I'm lazy, or whether I'm an achiever, or whether I'm a follower, or whether I'm a leader. I don't want anybody telling me that, because if somebody tells me about my negatives, I probably will become defensive.
Oh, okay.
Right? So, through astrology again, when I have made my chart, I know exactly what are my capabilities and my abilities. Now, once I am in charge of my capabilities and abilities, I can charter my way through my career and through my profession. So I can utilize that professionally. And I can choose the path which I enjoy. So that's how I think my profession can be much more sharpened if I know that this is what I would like to do. And this is what I can do. And this is how I can do it. That's how astrology helps us.
Very interesting. Your tagline says, attitude is your altitude. Can you please explain?
Yes, I can definitely tell you. Attitude हम किसको कहते हैं basically? Attitude, according to me, is your self-respect, your conviction, your confidence, and your consistency. The 3 C's in life. अगर हमारा एटीट्यूड ही लो है and our projection towards things or situations or people is negative, tell me one thing, Amod, can our altitude be high? Altitude is basically how well you grew in life, right?
Right.
But I am always thinking negative. I am always having a defeatist attitude or a defeatist perception. Attitude to hum explain kar rahe hain. And tell me one thing, that if I'm having a defeatist kind of a thing and if I'm lacking in confidence, I will not be able to achieve much.
Okay.
Achievement is the altitude.
Right.
That means how much can we achieve in life. But at the same time, if my perception towards life and the world in general is happy and I am convinced of my values, I have great self-respect and self-esteem in myself, which builds up my confidence, and I know I am capable, I am aware of my abilities. That gives me a very good attitude to start off in life in becoming an achiever.
Okay.
Right? But if I'm not sure of myself, and if I'm not convinced of the things that I am doing, so if my attitude is down, I can never achieve the limits or the targets or the goals I have set for myself.
Okay.
So that's why, rather than explaining so much, because in everyday life you can't keep explaining to people, so it's a very sweet and a crisp way of saying attitude is your altitude.
Indeed it is. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So फिर attitude अगर हमारा सही है, altitude भी सही होगा.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
So that's how attitude is altitude.
Beautifully said. Interesting question. Is EQ more important than IQ?
Obviously, Amod. EQ, I give more credibility to the EQ because emotions are of paramount importance, whether it is in your personal life or whether it is in your professional life. Now, you must have seen, you're a very experienced person yourself and a professional at that. I have seen it in my life too, that there are many people who are very, very intelligent, have got distinction in their studies, and they have got all the possible degrees, but yet they have not been able to reach the mark.
Right.
And that actually frustrates a person, don't you think?
Correct.
Now, basically, if you ponder over it and if you think कि people who are so sharp and so intelligent and they're so studious and they're so serious in life, why haven't they been able to make it? The definite answer, as a psychologist also I can tell you, is that they haven't been able to handle their emotions well.
Okay.
So obviously a person who has gone, see, I go to seek a job. When I go to seek a job, I am very confident because these are the things I have in my hand, right? I am A grade in my studies, I've been a distinction holder,
Correct.
I'm very serious, I'm very intelligent. Now, when you go to seek a job, the person who's interviewing you is actually not only seeing what are your credentials, he also is gauging you that how well are you handle or able to handle a certain situation.
Right.
So he will definitely try to provoke you. You got it?
Yes.
So when he's provoked you, I become arrogant. I'm carrying my credentials. You're trying to provoke me. You're trying to question me. So see, that is not acceptable.
Right. Right.
So it is like a perfect balance that intelligence ke saath saath, you also need to know how well you can handle your emotions in life. Whether you're tolerant, whether you're patient, whether you can be calm in a crisis. Because in every work sphere, you will see there is a crisis point.
Correct.
And if I'm unable to handle that crisis point in an office, what are my degrees going to do?
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
So intelligence ke saath saath, being emotionally strong is also important. In olden days, a lot of credibility was given to studies for gathering and amassing knowledge.
Right.
Now, if you see history of the world or history of the human race, we have all grown by gathering enough knowledge, by getting exposed to certain probabilities in life.
Mm-hmm.
Today, according to me, we have reached a position where we have a lot of knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
but how to apply that knowledge,
Right.
how to handle that knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
how best are we in leading a good, balanced life, all points towards EQ. So if you, recollect, we were just talking about, and you were asking about attitude.
Yeah.
Attitude is your emotional quotient, whereas altitude is how high you can reach with your emotional quotient and with your IQ in hand. So IQ is the books, EQ is the application.
Okay.
That's how EQ is definitely more important.
Yeah, this last question is a personal one.
Okay,
I mean, you've been in this profession for more than 3 decades now.
that's right.
We've seen the energetic you.
Okay.
Or what keeps you going?
Good question. Amod, I am sure you'll agree with me when you are doing things which are very close to your heart, right? When you're doing things which you're passionate about, and you're not forced into that profession, and you've chosen it because you've chosen it, and then you study, and that thing becomes much more interesting because you're curious about that profession. That was how I started initially. I was very curious as a psychologist to know how does the human mind work? How can we make it better? And since we all think, even I, including me, I used to think that I don't know, I can do this and I can do that. I knew I can do, but what can I do was the question when I got into this profession. Now, having chiseled my own life, I realized that this is such a beautiful science that I probably can chisel the lives of the other people also. As a psychologist, I didn't believe in medicines curing you because I felt that it can actually make a vacuum in your body and mind. It makes you more lethargic. And it excited me no end to know that if any individual could choose the kind of profession they can, which they enjoy doing, life will be much more energetic. So similarly with this profession of mine, I have I've been into it for 3 decades, and I don't have to say trust me, because I just know it, that every individual that has come to me has been a history by itself.
Oh,
So it's been like a picture.
okay.
Do human beings ever tire of seeing movies, good movies?
No.
They never get tired. You feel like seeing one every day. Similarly for me, dealing with human minds and then chiseling them in my own way through astrology and seeing them making a difference gets me very excited. Like people do charity. Why do they do charity? Because it gives them peace of mind.
Right.
Because they feel very good about themselves. Right? For me, when I am chiseling human lives, apart from it being my bread and butter because it's a profession and we're all living in this world, it excites me no end when I see that I have made a difference in people's lives.
Right.
And it is something like in myself, I would say I'm not a negative person. I'm not a negative person. I do have my moments of ups and downs. I do have my moment of erraticism. You laugh if I tell you that I love being a drama queen. When I'm sad and I really cry and I listen to those soulful songs and all that is there. And then after that, I actually laugh at myself. Wow, now that thing is over and done with. Then my positivity comes in, and I see that there is so much of positive energy around me. Basically, it is not that I have transported myself into a positive world. It is I am exuding that positive energy which I am being surrounded with. Because positive energies attract the positive energies. So probably that has made me very vigilant, healthy in my mind and body.
Okay.
So when that has made me healthy, I think age is just a number. So you want to keep going as long as you're living. But somebody had gone and asked Lord Shiva that you have a third eye. I want to know who's the happiest in this world. Because I have roamed around so much. I've gone to the kings and queens, and I've gone to people who are very rich and who can afford everything in this world. But I still see them sad. And he says, but yes, I do remember seeing a man he didn't have very many clothes on his body. He just had a pair of bullocks, and he was tilling on his land, and he was whistling.
Okay.
So I need to know this answer. This person who has so much of money is not happy. This person who's working in the sun and he really doesn't have that much of money, but he's so happy and he was whistling. And what's the answer to this? Shivji apparently replied in just one word, saying, a man who works and enjoys his works is the person who will always be happy. Because this farmer knew that this is his land, and whatever seeds he's going to sow is the ones that he's going to reap. So in anticipation, he's happy.
Right.
So similarly, I can say that for me, from the last 3 decades, I've been energetic because I know that the seeds that I sow in every human mind is going to reap benefits tomorrow. I think that gives me a lot of peace.
Oh, I'm sure this is fascinating, and I would like to continue, but we have time restrictions. Thank you so much for your time.
Bless you.